Welcome back, everybody. Let's keep diving into state. So now that you've kind of seen state in action, let's go over a couple of facts about state, and then we will work on that second function. So first things, what is state? State is a way in React to store and manage data that changes over time. Each component can have its own state. So as we build different components, each one can have its own state. State must always live at the top level of the component, though. State is mutable, meaning it can be updated. Why is state important? It allows our components to maintain and update its data. When state changes, React automatically re-renders the component to reflect the new state. And that's when we saw the movie updating automatically on the web page versus when I was just using a variable to do it. That is why that was happening, is because when we use state, React re-renders the component to reflect the new data. The use state hook in functional components, the use state hook is used to add state. So that's how we create it. And it returns an array with two elements, the current state and a function to update the state, which will commonly be called our setter function. So if we come back and look at our app.j, let's see, our random movie.jsx, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and clear this out. And let's go ahead and work on this next movie function. So first things first, all these indexes, I'm going to highlight them all by clicking Control D. Just to fix that, we're going to move it to movie index. You'll see that all these are still red, and that's because movie index is a constant. And if we want to change its value, we have to use the setter function. All right, so let's go ahead and update this function. I'm going to empty this out. And let's go ahead and call our setter function. So we're going to set our movie index. And whenever we call this, there's two questions we should ask ourselves. The first one is, do we care about the previous value of what the state was? And we do in this instance. If we've already got a random function and our index is 33, we either want to add 1 to 33 or minus 1 from 33. So we can grab that, and the common syntax for this is prev and then the name of the state, so movie index. And then we can do a fat arrow, and I'm going to open up a pair of curlies because we're in a function. So we have our prev movie index, and this parameter holds the value of whatever the value was when we called set movie index. At that point, we can now do the logic in here to set our state to the new value. We can use the old value as a part of that operation. The second question we should ask ourselves is, what data type do we want to return? In this instance, we're working with a number, so we want to return a number. If you're working with an array, you would want to say maybe return, and then you'd want to open up your array brackets. Working with an object, you'd want to open up your curlies. If we're working with a string, you'd want to do quotations. So the first thing we want to do here is we need to get a new index. So let's go ahead and say const new index is equal to our previous movie index plus the num. And now we can use this new index to see if we need to handle being at either the beginning or the end of the array, so we don't go into either a negative index or an index that doesn't exist on our array, so we don't come back with an undefined value. So we can say if our new index is less than 0, then we want to return our movies.length minus 1. This is going to return a number, and that number is what we're going to set our movie index to. And then here we can say else if the new index is equal to our movies.length, we want to return 0, and we will set our movie index to 0. Or If none of those statements are true, we just want to return the new index, and whatever the new index is what we'll set our movie index to. And I accidentally got rid of the opening curly here, which is where I found our errors. Okay. Now that we've got that, we're still passing -1 or 1 down. We should be able to, let's give this a little refresh. If I hit next movie, we step forward. If I hit previous movie, we step back, and you can see I can step back to the end. And then if we come back here to the front, we can come back to our index of 0. So this is working now. So when we're working with state, this is what carries our value, and this is our setter function to update that value. And we have the ability to grab the current value to be able either to add to it, minus from it, or if we're working with an array, to not lose that array of data, or if we're working with an object, not to lose the whole object's worth of data, and we can just update one part, add something to the array, and we'll see a little bit more of that as we get farther into these lessons. This is a good start to an intro to state. We'll get plenty of repetitions with it, and we will see you in the next video.